Hello and welcome to the Art Hitman. I'm Perry Mechanics and today I'm going to show you how to draw Leatherface. Alright, this is going to be a horizontal drawing, so let's go ahead and start with our line at the top. Divide the page in half to the bottom of the page. Once you've got your page divided in half, what we're going to do is we're going to have his head is going to be slightly off to the side, like more towards right. So we're going to put his head on an angle. And make sure you give enough space for his hair at the top. And then you go ahead and let's put an oval shape in for his face. Nice, and taking up maybe the middle portion of the page right here. All right, immediately after that, you want to put his shoulders in. Because he's such a bulky guy, it doesn't require too much structure, but you want to take his shoulders right off the page here. And his other shoulder is going to be higher. This is going to go off this way. Now, once you have his head and then you have his shoulders in, we're going to go ahead and immediately put his chainsaw in because the chainsaw takes up a portion of the page as well. So we're going to have a line that goes from here and continue off the bottom of the page like this. And repeat the same thing from this edge, but it's going to get thinner as you get to the bottom. It's more so if you look at these two lines like it's coming towards you. As it gets fans out and get wider and gets closer, it looks like it's coming forward. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started on Leatherface's features. So let's go ahead and put where his eyes are going to be. And immediately with his eyes, when we put his eyes in, we have to put our temple lines in, these two lines that I put here. I'm going to go ahead and start sketching in his eyes. So for his eyes, we're going to come to the center line and come up like this. We're going to repeat the same thing for his left side. Now for the bridge of his nose is a piece that comes down like this. It's more like a frown. He's wearing someone else's flesh, so that's going to be an overlay, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Now we're going to come over top and put the top portion of his brow in, and it repeats the exact same shape here. And do the same thing for his left side. And bring it around like this. So now that we're coming into the actual eye sockets, for the leather that's over his actual face, we're going to bring this line around and under, just like this. Repeat the same thing for his left side. Now, since he's actually wearing someone else's flesh as a mask, what we want to do is come in and just divide this in half by putting plus in. This way we know where we want the eyes to be inside the mask. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to draw his eyes, and they're going to be wide, of course, because we're showing expression basically. And you can let this bottom portion of his eye go to the bottom, and then we're going to put his eyelid in just like this. And do the same thing for his left side. Come over as high as you can. Repeat that for the eyelash or eyelid, and then close the bottom portion of it. Now, if you notice I have a plus here, that plus is so that we know exactly where we want his iris to be. So let's go ahead and put that in. Right in the center. Do the same thing for his right side. And then go ahead and put a tiny dot in for his retina. Same thing for his right side. Okay. So I think we have the look of rage that we want for our Leatherface. So now we're going to go ahead and move to his nose. For his nose, we're going to come down and put the line in where we want his nose to end. Right there. And we're going to start with the bridge of his nose. It's going to be pretty wide, so come out and come in. And then you're going to come out one more time. And repeat the same thing for his right side. Now, this portion of his nose, let's put two lines here as more structure here. And then put a triangle shape upside down here. So this way we know how we want his nose to look. And it almost looks like a diamond shape here if you notice. So now I can go ahead and put his structure in. So for the outside, you can go darker. And put these two in. And if you notice the lines that I have provided here, it's showing us exactly where we want things to go. So I want the corners of his nose to be right here, come down in the center, and then repeat the same thing for his left side. Just like this. And then he's going to have a piece that comes around like this. Now, for his mouth is very exaggerated because he is wearing, again, it's an overlay of a mask of flesh. So we're going to bring this around like this, as high as we can up under his nose. And it's a interesting shape. So we're going to carry this around as wide as we can and come up to the other side like this because there's a tear in that mask. And then just simply come around like this and close it. Now, if you follow the shape, it comes around like this and come up. Now we're going to put his actual mouth in. So we're going to actually follow the center line. Let's create another one right there. And we're going to put his actual lips in there. And bring this around like this. And come up to the other side. Now we're going to go ahead and do his teeth. We're going to come right to the edge of his mouth and just bring two lines in like this and angle it, as you see that, and do the same thing for this side. And what's going to happen is we're going to create kind of like a mold for his teeth. We're going to come in around the center and put a line over and do the same thing right here. If you notice, just go as light as possible and put a center line here. Now we can go ahead and add what we want his teeth to look like. Of course, they're going to be jagged and crooked. So let's go ahead and bring this in around and bring this up. And have this come straight down and overlap. And repeat the same thing for the left side. Now the bottom of his teeth is going to come in like this. You're going to see the bottom of his gum line, so we can repeat that in and put a center line right here and have these teeth meet together. And then here we can shade this part in, right in the corners. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and come under his eye and put a cheekbone in, like that. And this line is gonna be different because this actually twists up. So we're gonna have a line come around and up over, come around and up again. And then for the other side, we're gonna have an overlapping piece that comes on the side of his head. And it could complete this line underneath his eye, just like we did for the right side. Now we're going to come to the outside of his nose. We're going to come around his entire mouth and then stop. Now we're going to start to work on the exterior of his face. So let's go ahead and meet this side, bring the cheek out, come straight down, and come around to the bottom like this. Then there's a bottom portion that comes up on the other side. And meet the other side just like this here. Right on the outside of his left eye, there's a piece of flesh that comes up and around like that. For his forehead, he has one line of freckles, or a freckle that goes over like this. Another one, and of course he has stapled this part of the flesh onto his head. So we're going to come around and close this. And we're going to put a staple line here, just straight across like that. And put a staple here. And you can make them jagged. Have a little fun with this portion of it, because it doesn't matter how you put the staples in, because they're supposed to just look like they're not professionally done. So you can just zigzag them like I'm doing, or you can make them straight across if you want them neat. It doesn't matter. And go straight off the side of the edge of his head. Now for the top portion of his hair, we're going to do what's called a wig. It's very simple. We're going to come around like this and do another piece like this. And then there's going to be another piece that goes this way. And be carefree with it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and just bring a whole piece around like this to about where his ear is going to be, because we're going to have that go around like that. And then we can put his ear in and bring his ear down to here. Do the same thing for this side or his left side. Now, bring this line above the ear, and the back piece of his hair is going to come behind his ear like this, down to his shoulder. And for this side, it whips to the other side. So you can bring this around like this. This is one piece, and the rest of it can just come down behind his head just like this. And just lightly sketch that in. It doesn't have to be in a particular way, just lightly sketching these lines in. Now, he has a scar that comes from here to his lip here, so let's put that line in, and we'll put some staple lines in here as well. They're a little smaller because they're on his face, and as I said before, you can zigzag them. For his ear, I'm going to put a curve in like this, come around, and bring another shape around like that. Doesn't have to be super detailed, just to indicate that he has an ear or two ears. Now, underneath his chin is actually flesh that hangs off of that. So what we want to do is come off the edge of his jaw and put a line in like this and come up just like that, like in that shape. See that? Now come down, come over just under his chin, and come up to the other side. And then bring this piece of flesh around. And what you want to do at that point is bring a line in like this. These are just folds, just like as if this is a wrinkle on somebody's neck. And bring that line in like this. So he's wearing a button-down shirt. We're gonna come down underneath his ear and bring the collar out just like this. Come over to the center, and he has a tie that's gonna be hidden behind a chainsaw. Do the same thing for the other side. You're not gonna see it. Now for his shirt, we're gonna come in, up, and like make a wave. And we make the wave, let it continue off the page like this. And then we're going to go ahead and put his apron in. So you're going to put a line right here and a line that goes underneath the collar that he's wearing. And then come over like this. And then he has a line here, that's the top of the shirt. And repeat that shape. And we'll go ahead and put in 2 lines for his apron. Just like that. And of course there's going to be wrinkle lines for his shirt he's wearing under here, so you can kind of loosely notice what I'm doing. Put some curved lines in and put them in under here too, because he's wearing a shirt. For his left side, we're going to bring a line in like this and continue this around like that. And it's going to be a couple of indications of an apron, so we're going to draw through the chainsaw and then come down like this. Now for the chainsaw itself, we already have our lines here, right? So we're gonna keep this line straight down like this. And it's as simple as this, bring in another line in like this. Sketch it in as lightly as you can. No rulers needed. You're gonna be sketching and learn how to sketch lightly. And if you notice, I'm using the upper stroke with the pencil. Excuse me. Now, you want to put diagonal lines like this. These are very simple shapes for a chainsaw, and we're going to repeat the same thing on the opposite side. Diagonal shapes, just like that. We're not going to go through any measurements or anything like that. You're going to just pretty much lightly sketch them in all the way to the top. Now for the center line, we're just going to put a couple of scratch lines in, and you can be creative with this and just make it look like his chainsaw has been through a little bit of a war, like he's had some battles that he had to endure. Now what we're going to do is going to do a repeated shape. It's going to be spikes that I have come out like this. You see the shape here? You're going to repeat that for each line and just come up like this. Same thing down here. And where all these diagonal lines are, you want to do the same thing for each one. Here. And you can go a little darker if there's lines underneath that so you don't confuse it. Here. 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 And then there's one more right here. The rest goes off the page. Now once you've done that, we have little arcs that we can put in here like this, and they don't have to be completed. You can just notice what I'm doing, the line here, and they go straight up. You're really sketching lightly here. And of course we have to do the other side of the chainsaw the same way. So we're going to put lines here and repeat the same process. At the end of each one, you bring these hooks out. And then one more. And put the same lines in on this side. And notice when you're sketching, you're not going too dark, and you may want to make changes later. And I will say, if you've drawn up with me to this point, you've just completely sketched and drawn Leatherface. And what I'm going to do is clean it up, make it look all nice and neat. And at the end of the video, you can take a chance and you can look at it when it's done.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by clicking this round button at the bottom. Also, click one of the 2 videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you.
The Art Hitman.